Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing my 2019 TBR. So these are basically some books that I would like to get through this year. Some of them I have on my own physical TBR, and then some of them are books that are on my Goodreads TBR that I'd like to get out from the library and that kind of thing. So the first book on my physical TBR that I really want to get to this year is The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. This one came out towards the end of 2018 and I didn't get around to it, but I would love to read this one soon because I loved the first book in this series and I can't wait for this one. This follows a girl named Felicity who really wants to be a doctor, but it's in around the 1700s, so she ends up on pirate ships and things like that, so I'm really excited to get to this one. Next is The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. Donna Tartt wrote The Secret History, which is my favourite book of all time, and I can't wait to read this one as well. From what I remember from the synopsis, it's about a family where one of the children dies and then like years later another child within the family decides that they want to solve the murder and get kind of like revenge on the person who did it. So it sounds really dark, but I can't wait to read it. There is another Donna Tartt book on my 2019 TBR as well, and that is The Goldfinch. This one I believe is actually coming out as a film in 2019, which is really exciting. So I really want to read this before it comes out. This is about a boy who ends up living with like family friends in New York City, I think, and he somehow gets involved in like a criminal underworld because of a painting, I think. Sounds really good. Can't wait to read this one too. Next is another YA book, and this one is Sadie by Courtney Summers. So this one, actually somewhat similarly to The Little Friend, is about a girl whose sister is murdered and she feels like no one's doing anything about it, so she decides to investigate it herself. There's a podcast that goes along with this book, which is really exciting, and I can't wait to read it. The last book here on my physical TBR that I'm really wanting to get to in 2019 is The Martian by Andy Weir. This is an adult sci-fi novel about a guy that gets stranded on Mars. I've heard that it's really funny because of the protagonist, like, he's just kind of like witty, so I'm really excited to read this one. I have heard such good things about it. I can't wait to watch the movie as well. So next, the books that I want to get to this year that I don't own physically, but hopefully I'll be able to get them from the library or something like that. The first one is a non-fiction book and it is called Uninvited. Basically like a self-help type of book, but it's like biblically based, which I have been enjoying lately. The idea behind it is for people who feel like they don't fit in or don't feel welcome in certain situations or whatever. I just think this will be a really interesting non-fiction read. Next is a children's book called Ish by Peter H. Reynolds. This book I've heard of from probably like teacher YouTubers. I think one of them mentioned it and she said it was really good for showing kids that just because they're not like the best at something, it doesn't mean they can't do it. I just think this will be a really great children's book to read. I mentioned in my goals video that I really want to read more children's books this year, so this is one that I really want to get to. Another book I would love to read this year is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book is one that everyone was raving about in 2018 and I didn't get to it, but I would love to read this book. I don't really know what it's about. It's an adult fiction novel, but I really want to read this one. If you've read it, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments because I've heard really amazing things. Another book I'd love to read is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This book I've heard is like Harry Potter but college age, so it's about people that go to college that are wizards, I think. So yeah, that really appeals to me. I've heard good things about this book as well and I've wanted to read it for a long time, but it's never available in my library, so hopefully this year will be the year. The final book that I'd love to get to in 2019 is called Happily Ever After by Kara Cass. This is kind of a book of like little companion novellas to the Selection series, which is a series that I really love. It's just like a really fun read, so I'd love to read this selection of like novellas because it's one that I haven't gotten to yet and I'm really excited about it. It's just like a fun read for me. So those are all of the books that are on my 2019 TBR. If you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below and I'll see you guys with another video in a couple of days. Bye.